mihi nomen est Lucius Amadeus Ranierius, et ego in YouTube pelliculas facio. The history of the use of Latin in the liturgy in the Catholic Church has a really important flexion point in the 1960s for Vatican II, which is a council where they did a lot of reforms. And one of them was to do something that the Eastern Orthodox Church had done many centuries before, which was to permit not just one language, but to permit many vernacular languages being used alongside of, or in place entirely of Latin in the in Mass, essentially, of course, to be able to reach more people, I guess, was one of their motivations. So because of that, the importance of Latin, of even being able to use it if one is a priest, was greatly reduced. Now, most priests, I do understand in seminary, they study Latin to be able to read to some degree, and also a bit of ancient Greek, but they to actually communicate isn't really that important, because you would think that at the Vatican, where Latin is as the official language, ostensibly, from what I understand, and I've never been there, and as far as like actually been inside besides being a tourist over at the Vatican, I've never, I don't really know what they do, but I've heard, having spoken with the people I interviewed that day and on many other occasions, that they mostly use Italian or English. But Latin is this really unique language in that once it died, it continued to be used, died in a linguistic sense, it continued to be used so prolifically that, most of the books before the 20th century in history are all written in Latin in Europe. So that's why it is so important. It's to answer the question, like, why would you even bother? Well, to access the original, because otherwise we're dependent on translation.
We try to find out why it seems so difficult for us to gain access to the Vatican, to at least the places that normal tourists are not allowed to go. Do you have any idea why that might be the case?
That's a good question. I was thinking that it might be something like Buckingham Palace, where in a lot of ways, the Pope is something like a king or a monarch, and the Vatican is like a palace. Certainly kind of looks like one. And because of that, there are, just like Buckingham Palace and other places in the British monarchy, there are places that tourists can visit, but plenty of places that aren't, that are part of the official work of the state, and other parts that are, because there's private residences and so forth. So that's my only guess, and yeah, that's what I would guess. Curate ut valeatis, which means take care in Latin. So I don't know if there's something else you want me to say. I can't think of anything else.